Hi guys, welcome back to Between the Shelves. My name's Callum, also known as On the Shelf.
And I am Zach, also known as Uchuu Shelf.
And today we actually have our first ever special guest on the channel. So, Allonsyyy, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hello. I didn't know that I was the first guest, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. Yeah. So we all go back quite a long time. I think it's coming up to like 2 years now.
2 years.
Or
Feels like it's
years
been
now.
forever though.
Yeah. I want to say like April. Well, yeah, it's probably just around 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, we all started making manga videos together, and that's all kind of how we all know each other.
We all came
And
up
then
in
you
the-
abandoned us and left us to go and
I
make
ditched the
to make
community.
better videos.
I went to the anime community instead.
As one usually does. So
Yeah.
today, we should probably give you guys a quick podcast update. As you know, it's April, and we have yet to put out the February Manga Club video, or podcast, we should say. That's on me. That's entirely my fault. It's coming, though. I'm like, the thing is we don't have an excuse. I just didn't finish Torhedero. I'm almost done. We'll finish it. We'll record it. We'll put it out. In the meantime, we were going to talk about Sunny, but then Callum didn't finish that. So
Yeah, that's my bad.
we're gonna talk about another manga that we were gonna do this episode anyway, but we'll talk about it now. As we were gonna do, it's Blood on the Tracks by Shuzo Oshimi. So we're gonna talk a little bit about that today. A little bit about what we think of it so far. I think we're 3 or 4 volumes in at the moment.
I think it's probably the only series that I can think of that we all regularly somewhat keep up to date with and constantly kind of
Yep.
let each other know when the newest volume's coming out. So that's kind of like testament to how good it is. And if you're listening to this and you've not read it, then I'd probably advise you go and do that because we're going to spoil it at some point.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely if you haven't read past the first couple of volumes, definitely switch off now.
Yeah, I think it's one of those ones where it's kind of like, as soon as it's out, you're like, I need it now. And then as soon as you've read it within 10 minutes, you're like, who's read it? It's just one of those things that,
Yeah.
for me, I think it's it probably is the only series that I'm keeping up to date with. I think.
Yeah, it's the only one I'm keeping up to date with the few series, but like this is the only one that like when it comes out, I get it and I read it right away.
It doesn't take long either. Like that's kind of like the best and worst thing about the books is that you can pick them up and be finished with them in 10 minutes, and then be googling when the next one's going to come out, which is really frustrating.
Yeah, you're like, that was £10. That was £1 a minute. That was good. Like let's wait another 2 months.
All right. So for those of you who don't know what Blood on the Tracks is about, it's from Shuzo Oshimi, who's done Inside Mari,
Happiness, Flowers of Evil.
It's his newest series. It's ongoing right now in Japan. It follows a really dark tale about a young boy and his very overprotective mother. That's really just the cliff notes.
I feel like that's what I always tell people, and I think the best thing to do with this is like don't read too much into it. If you're interested in it, then just read it blindly because it's the best. It's the best thing. It's just full of kind of surprises that'll really kind of blindside you.
Well, that's what I did. Is I didn't know anything about this. I just bought it purely based on the fact that it was Shuzo Oshimi's, and I got to the end of volume 1, and I was like, "All right, I love this. This is good."
Yeah, I think it's because, well, I kind of knew going into it what it was going to be about because I watched that Super Eye Patchball video on it. So I kind of had like the first volume kind of spoiled for me, but it didn't really spoil it because it's the weird like feeling and like atmosphere that it builds up that is actually unlike anything else I've read. It's very kind of cyclical. Something's off the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, but the thing is, you never guess what's going to happen because you can't predict, because it feels so not human almost that you're like, I can't predict something that isn't what a human would think, because I don't think like she does or this world does.
Yeah.
So like kind of disclaimer, I suppose, like spoiler alert, it's kind of impossible to talk about this without saying at least what happens in the first volume. But I think that for me that the kind of thing that it was built up was the whole she pushes the cousin off the cliff in the first volume. But what actually makes the series really, really good is kind of like the fallout after that. It's like how she descends into madness in her son's sort of view of her, because he's always seen her as just this protective mother, like she would never harm anyone, and then from then he has this whole different view on her, and you see her as it progresses kind of descend into madness. And it's the way that it's drawn. Like there'll just be a panel where you see her in one light, and then she'll turn and look at you, or like look at the page or whatever.
Yeah,
and
and it's like
then,
sketchy and
scribbled and
in.
Yeah.
I think that the turning point for me was when, you know, when the people turn up and they see the kid lying down there, her son, who's essentially the main character of this story, he essentially is forced to lie and cover for her, despite the fact that he's seen it. But that's not because he wants to protect her. I think it's because he's so terrified of her as well. So it's kind of this like weird thing, because then he's kind of got this guilt inside him as well,
right?
Because he knows the truth, and you know, you see the kid in the hospital and everything after, and the lies that she tells. But it's kind of like they're both aware of each other, that they both know what happened, but he's just this vulnerable kid that probably feels like no one would believe him anyway, and whatnot. But I think it's
almost a bit of both, because he's kind of got that like protective thing that some kids have about their moms when they're like younger. But there's one scene in it where someone's like making fun. I think it's his cousin, actually, just in the first volume, is like making fun of how his mom's overprotective, and he like grabs him and he's like, "Don't talk about my mommy like that." Like, isn't this kid supposed to be like 13 or something? But so it's almost like a bit of both. Like he wants to protect her from like going away, but he's also like insanely afraid of her, because like, isn't there a part afterwards where he's like having difficulty speaking, like he can't get his words out?
It's almost like a whole volume, wasn't it? He couldn't talk. He was just completely shaken.
I think there's just a really interesting dynamic with a kind of parent and child, in that, you know, when someone's insane, you can kind of usually, from an outsider perspective, say to them, "You're insane." But if you've been raised by that crazy person,
no, it's just normal.
Then that's normal for you. Yeah. So there's like flashbacks to, I think when he's a kid and he sees like a dead cat, is it, or something?
Oh God, yeah.
And it's implied to the reader, because we're the outsider, that the mother's killed the cat, but he doesn't see that. He keeps coming back to that memory, and it's sort of like his memory on that changes when he actually sees his mother attempt to murder his own cousin. When I say that out loud, that just sounds insane. Like,
but the crazy thing is, as well, is like the dad is kind of not really in this world. He seems like a normal dude.
Yeah,
like,
it's just like, all right, eat your dinner and go to bed, I guess. It's like, do you not know what is going on around you in your
And I think home? It's they do push the mundane on it as well, because like all this will happen, and then she'll be like, "Do you want pork buns for breakfast?" Or like, and it's just like, bro, you pushed my cousin off a cliff and then try to like half make out with me in my bed. Like I don't know what's going on.
She makes him feel guilty for wanting to go and visit the cousin in hospital as well. He's like just trying to be a normal kind of member of the family, and she's like, doesn't she start shit with the dad and implies that he's horrible to her, and it's all this like control thing that she wants to have sole custody of the son so that he'll stay with her forever.
I mean, that's the thing, that even when you get the introduction, he finally meets, you know, this girl that he, you know, becomes fond of. She almost identifies her as a threat as well, and does everything in her powers to try and not only just get rid of this girl, but also she wants the kid, her son, to understand why and want it as well. She's trying to like convince him, and it's kind of like it's almost like she treats her son as like this like very private property that no one else can touch. And I feel like the dad doesn't even seem close to the kid in the same way. She's very guarded him off from everyone. And I think that's why, you know, like even the other kids have probably picked up on it. That's why, you know, he'll be out shopping with the mum or whatever, and the kids will just like pick up on it, because kids are cruel when they notice everything. But he's on the inside, and he doesn't, like you say, he's kind of been raised with it, so he doesn't really know any better. So like,
it almost makes you wonder, and I'm sure they address this in later volumes, but I mean, okay, so obviously the mom is mentally ill. There's something very clearly wrong with her. But I almost wonder if something happened when like he was a baby or something that caused her to be like if he almost died or something, or if they were in like an accident and he was like, he had to be like brought back to life or something.
Yeah,
that like forced
maybe
her to be like this.
That's why.
But just the lengths that she goes, because like, I can justify some of the things she does. I say justify in the loosest sense, but there's some things she does where it's just like not just pushing the kid off the cliff for one, but when they're when he gets the love letter from the one girl and they're lying in their bed and she's like, come on, rip it up with mommy, and they both rip it up together. It's just so, it's not traditionally like haunting or anything, but just the way that it's drawn and written and just it plays out, it's just so really unsettling.
Well, I think for the one scene was where like he wanted to go out and she was like, do you want to kill your mummy and stuff like that, then kill me, and they're lying out in front of the door in the hallway, and you just like it was the most like mental scene, because it was kind of like it was the first time that like it had all come out, like they finally confronted each other with it, like the kid finally, well, he hadn't spoken for ages, he physically had an issue where he was trembling and not able to even speak even when the mother wasn't around, and finally he broke out of it, and that was really because of the confidence that he got given by meeting this girl, who I think she is meant to be the kind of like olive branch to like normality, the normal world,
right.
And I think that's why the mother's so protective around this girl, because she doesn't want him out of that world. And then when, you know, the kid finally confronts the mum, you know, she's like, kill me. Do you want to kill me? Fine, kill me, you know? And it's just like, whoa. And then that puts a lot of pressure and guilt on the kid's shoulder anyway.
Like, well, no,
that scene was so messed up.
Oh, I know. And we say this is a funny thing, because we say this at the end of every volume ever since we picked up, like, wow, that last scene was really fucked up. And then we get to the next volume and you're like, nope, this one's really fucked. I haven't finished volume 4 yet, but I imagine it'll be as screwed up as the end of volume 3. But
oh yeah, I feel like Shuzo Oshimi's got this real good way of making not a lot of text speak volumes, because like there's like this eerie silence thing going on, the simplicity in a lot of the scenes, the way he draws things quite simply, not to say that he can't draw things in excruciating detail, because there are some parts, like even if it looks scribbled, the detail in some of the it's unbelievable, some of the stuff that he can draw. But there's just something in the fact that the pacing, it can feel really fast and not a lot's happened, then all of a sudden it feels like a psychological thriller in a moment, like it just spins and then all of a sudden it's out of control. It's like the knife through the door in The Shining moment, that it feels like that happens out of nowhere sometimes, and I think that's the reason why it makes it so unsettling, because you're like, oh fuck, like this, it makes it feel more like mentally disturbed, because that's probably how it really is. I feel like some of the stuff will just come out of nowhere. It's not like a lot of shows or series where it just like there's a lot of development, you can see things coming, because you generally can't see this coming.
Oh no.
Some of his artwork is just really uncomfortable to look at times as well. Like you were saying before, like the sketchy kind of nature of it has that kind of balance and contrast to just the way that he draws other things. But then I found that there's some of it, because I've read quite a lot of his manga, like he does actually draw quite a lot of perverted things as well, and sometimes that kind of seeps into Blood on the Tracks, and it makes me really genuinely concerned for where the series might go in the future, because there's that scene where he does confront his mother and he says to her, like, you know, whatever about the cousin, and she like sticks her fingers down his throat and tries to make him throw up, and that was drawn in a really kind of perverse way, and it's similar to other things that he's drawn. It's funny you brought that up, because it reminded
me of that one scene in Flowers of Evil when what's his name runs away, and the girl he likes comes after him, and they're on the mountain, and you know what scene I'm talking about, right?
Yeah,
it reminded me of that.
But there's because I've read a lot of Oshimi, and I feel like he's not a pervert, but he always does take it kind of really far sometimes with that side of things, and I haven't quite seen that yet in Blood on the Tracks, so it's quite interesting that I wonder if he will throw in a huge curveball, and like the mother will start getting like inappropriate in more ways than one. Do you know what I mean? Like it's possible. It's Japan, let's be honest.
Well, I mean that scene on the bed though did make me feel like that.
That's where I thought it was going.
Yeah. I was like, don't tell me she's going to slip in a finger or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, I did feel like that. But the thing is, I think that scene planted the seed of the, like, you're always like, oh, it's possible, but will it? And that's the thing, because now you're kind of frightened for this kid. And then you're just like, oh, this is all happening. Like when she would like appear in the doorway and shit of his bedroom and stuff, you're just like, oh man.
I wonder though, because I can't see that happening, because I feel like the dynamic that they've got is that she wants to protect him, not necessarily be in a romantic relationship with him.
I can't see it happening, but I'll let you finish and then I'll explain.
But then again, like, because he's looking, like you said, to this kind of olive branch of the love interest, if you like, if she'll try and take her place to keep that protection over him and be like, you don't need her, she can't do what she can offer you, I can offer you as well.
That's
That's
exactly
exactly
my
what I was
thought
going to say. Yeah, because I think this girl and the kid are going to probably start getting, getting
And I think-
together. And she's going to find out. And I think that's when we say that shit's gone down. I think shit will really go down when she finds out.
Yeah,
that
I
done
think
that.
the end of volume 4, there's an incident that happens revolving around this girl, and I really think that that's going to be like the catalyst of going forward, because it's like it's all confronted, including the girl, and it's kind of like, okay, cards are all on the table now. I feel like now going forward is going to be the time where the mum is going to be like, okay, well, if I need to take over, I need to take this girl's place. That's how I genuinely feel. So when you said that, I was like, that's the one right there. That's how I think. I think that's it. But then again, with this series,
I never know.
you genuinely don't know. Like, I mean, she pushed a fucking child off a cliff for really not much of a
And that was
valid
one of the
reason.
tamer things she did so far.
Yeah, I mean,
I kind of hope that the dad sort of steps up a little bit more though in this
Oh, I think she'll kill him.
relationship.
She'll kill him.
Yeah,
yeah, I think so. I think. Do you know what? Here's my prediction. Putting this on the table now, he's gonna start seeing shit, and then he's gonna be concerned. She's gonna push him off a cliff or something too. I don't know. But
just drive him out to a cliff. Like, shall we go visit that cliff again?
Yeah, anniversary or something. I don't know, but I feel like he might like start like sniffing something or whatever, and then she's gonna feel protective over the child, because we know that their marriage isn't great anyway. Like that we saw that scene where they were arguing, and that she felt that she wasn't like wanted or valued and stuff like that. So I feel like their relationship's kind of like irrelevant to her anyway. So it seems that she literally lived. This is the weird thing. Her as a mother, like she is like unconditional about this kid. Like it's unlike, it is a true mother's love, but it's an obsession that's turned psycho. So I feel like regardless of whatever happens, she will kill for him, I think.
I don't know how her kind of personality has got this bad like this quickly though. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't see, when you read it, I don't understand what the catalyst was that's just suddenly made her this crazy. Because if he's married her and he's had a kid with her, and it shows in flashbacks that she was murdering cats when the kid was like however young anyway, she's obviously always been mental. So I feel like you would always have that kind of like glimmers of what she can actually be like in their relationship. So that is probably one of the downsides to the manga that I can see, is that
maybe she's just a a lady in the streets and freak in the sheets kind of person. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, we don't know much about her before that like cat incident too. So I mean, there could be any number of things. I mean, the reason, I mean, even just ballparking this one is she could be like this because of her marriage being abusive or something, for example, because their marriage obviously sucks, and he's obviously checked out of the marriage, and I don't know, maybe something like that happened.
He's also never around as well.
No, that too. So I mean, maybe she's felt neglected, and then she has something that she can take care of, and now he's at an age where he can kind of reciprocate those kind of feelings as well. But I don't know.
One of my concerns is that if it escalated to the point where it was almost just like, well, if it gets to the point where she realizes she can't put a handle on this and control him, that it's kind of like, well, if I can't have you, then no one else can, and then the boy generally becomes like in danger of like maybe she kills him or something like that, because you don't know. The thing is, when you're talking about like people with proper like psycho mental health problems, you can never understand their thought process or predict what they're like or what they're capable of as well. So what might not seem rational, it could be totally rational to them, and you never know. I mean, she pushed a fucking child off a cliff.
I would love to just be like, I would love to see the thought process behind thinking that's a good idea. Just going from, yeah, they're pretty good friends and they've been gone for 2 minutes too, I'm gonna throw this kid off the fucking cliff.
Yeah, and their parents are like right nearby too as well. But I think it was that moment where she realized that the boy was still conscious. That was just like, she had this dread, but it wasn't. It wasn't out of guilt. It was for herself, I think.
I wonder if he's gonna wake up and remember what happened.
That's a huge thing, because
that's like one of the big things. Because right now he's like kind of, he's not in a coma anymore. He's just awake, but he's not like super conscious or something, right?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of like a little bit of an arc that's going throughout the story, because obviously you've got the ongoing kind of like everyday things that, because the story doesn't really have like main story arcs, it's very much like day-to-day stuff and incidents, that probably makes it more realistic. But there is an arc in the fact that this kid is like, is he gonna recover? And if he does, holy shit.
That's the only reason I can see for them leaving him alive, really, because otherwise it would have served its purpose, and it would have shown how crazy she can be, and he'd be dead, and they'd just move on with it, and there might be a bit of fallout from it. I think the fact that he is probably still alive, it means he's probably key to the story in some way. My guess would be that she's gonna possibly make the son feel like it's all his fault, or like guilt him into shutting up about it or something. Because otherwise, once that kid wakes up, then it's all over.
I bet she finishes the job. I bet he gets better. He comes home. He doesn't remember what happened because he's just survived like falling off a cliff and hitting his head and shit. But I think her son is gonna tell him, and then she's gonna find out, and she's gonna be like, "Well, I gotta kill one of you."
She's not going to kill.
Ain't gonna be my kid. Yeah, possibly. I think it's I mean, the fact that she took her son to the hospital to go see him after as well. Like that scene where like, because his eyes were all kind of like glazed and not right, and then the boys just sat there with the parents, seeing how devastated the family are. And they're just essentially lying in front of their family, visiting them, telling them how sad they are. And she's like, "You've got to come and visit." And he's like, "I don't want to go to the hospital." And too fucking right doesn't want to go to the hospital. Like, you want to go? That's the most sick thing. I mean, I know it's his friend, but it's just like, you can see why. And I think that's going to play on him as well, seeing the kid like that as well, and not even be able to talk to the kid as well, like they're friends. And he's other than this girl, he's got no one. So it's like, and he hasn't even really told her everything as well. He's just kind of let her in on little bits here and there. But
well, I think if your mom is chasing you through a field, you don't really need much more than that to go on.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that'll do it.
When you think about the series as a whole, because obviously we're all massively obsessed with it at the minute anyway, what do you think has made it so successful? Like, what do you think makes it so kind of appealing to us? Because for me, I think it's that kind of, I love like serial killer stories. I really like crime documentaries and things like that. And I think that this is like the manga version of like what it's like to be Ted Bundy or something. Like,
I think I really like a lot of psychological thriller, but a lot of psychological thrillers, so it's either really slow burn where it's like to the point where it's kind of boring, or it's like, oh, this guy has got like 4 different personality disorders. This one is written in this really hauntingly realistic way, where it's like it feels so mundane, but it's also like when you sit back and think about it, it's like, wow, this is actually really fucked up overall. I don't know, it's just the way the characters are written, the way everything plays out, the pacing, just everything about it just, I think, fits so perfectly together, and it just feels so real at many points.
Yeah, I feel like it's because the whole thing feels a little bit off, and there's not there's not a wide array of characters, It's just like there's something simple and wrong about everything, and it's like the pacing. I mean, when you physically read it, you can do it in 10 minutes, but like it feels like watching an episode and everything. It feels like, how like in Attack on Titan, everything happens in the last 30 seconds. It kind of feels like that in this way, because it goes so slowly. But even the little slow sections where there's like 3 or 4 pages and it's only got like a couple of bits of dialogue, still so much is coming out in the art and everything like that it's just kind of like you're reading into everything. The facial expressions, like the deadpan ways that she will just look and stare like there's nothing inside her, like she doesn't have a soul, is just haunting sometimes. And the art style's just really great, everything about it. But I just think it's just like the pacing is right, the story is kind of right, and it feels, like you said, it feels a bit realistic as well.
That just reminded me of another thing you pointed out about the way that the story kind of unfolds, is that we all read a lot of shonen too, I think, and a lot of shonen has this like really bad tendency to kind of just spend 5 pages being like, okay, so this is exactly how his power works, this is where he got his power from, and this is why his power is activated at this time. But this one, you got like page after page of no dialogue, and that's telling enough of the story for you. You don't need everything spelled out for you. So it's a lot of the author just not treating you like a 4-year-old and just saying, like, showing instead of telling.
Well, it's open to interpretation as well. Like, so like when she, she makes him rip up the letter from the girl, you could go right in Shonen. They'd be like, the mother would say, "How dare you? You know, you are like." She would literally say to the child, like an inner monologue out loud, "Why you cannot have this?" You know, whatever. But to us, we're just like, okay, is it because, you know, she's threatened by the girl, so he might tell her? Is that what it is? Is it because he doesn't want her to have any friends? She wants it for herself. Is she sexually interested in this child? Like, there's so many different things that you're like, I don't know what this means. But if this was Shonen, they would literally tell you. And I think that that's the great thing about it, because then that way it adds to the, when something does go down eventually, you're like, you either guessed it correctly, then you get that warm feeling inside of, I guessed this right. Or you get that, holy shit, I did not expect that, you know. And I think that's just the great way about it. It's just, you know, it's like, for example, like before the chase happens with the girl and the child, beforehand they would have been like, we have to be careful, my mum hears us, you know, she's got this ability where she'll kill us and blah blah blah. That doesn't happen. She just appears out of fucking nowhere like Randy Orton and just starts chasing them. And I think that that's like what adds to that kind of like horror, because it's you're not in it, like in the way that like you're not on the inside like you are with most manga. You're kind of just like watching from the outside, and that's the best part about it, I think.
Yeah.
I, for one, think it would be dope if the next volume got a tournament arc. I'm just putting that out there.
Just like a combination of like young boys and their really abusive, weird moms just get together in like a tournament, like a dome, and just.
That's exactly what it's missing.
Yeah, they'll go to like a field somewhere, and it'll just be like a standoff with the girl and the mum, and they'll just like throw down or something like that, and then the dad will come out of nowhere and take side with the young girl, and then I don't know.
You could do it almost like
the guy will roll up in a wheelchair or something out of the hospital.
But he's developed telekinesis or something.
Yeah, he's like floating around and shit. You could do it almost like Shaman King, the way that they like summon the spirits and everything. They can just summon their moms like that.
It's like Mum Wars.
So what is everyone's kind of top prediction for the next volume, if you like? Because I'm not as far as you guys, so I'll leave it to you to kind of give us your thoughts.
Well, I think it ends with them just running away. I don't think they actually get anywhere. So I imagine she's gonna bring him back to her house, like this girl, I can't remember her name, and they're gonna hide him there. I don't know if her parents will know about it, but I think she'll hide him in her room or something, and then her mom will be like, or his mom will be like, "Hey, have you seen my son?" And they'll be like, "Who?" It's like nobody will know anyone or anything. I don't know. Aside from him just hiding, I really don't know where else it could go from here. Because if I could make a prediction, but then maybe he gets pushed off a cliff. I don't know.
Is she like trying to kill them now or something? Then, because I feel
I think it's the girl. I think it's the girl. I don't know if she's. I feel like she has the capacity. She clearly has the capacity to kill people. She's fucking done it. But I mean, if she can kill her sister's child, she can definitely do it to a stranger's daughter. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like that's definitely on the cards, but I don't know whether
she's a little bit more clever with it, right? She doesn't tend to just because she only pushed that guy off the cliff because no one was really watching. I don't think that she would just go and stab someone in the street or something. Like, right. I don't know. I feel like she'd have more of a clever plan.
The issue that I have is that this girl seems quite strong. Like she's, because I don't know if you've seen the end of Volume 4, but she essentially stands up to the mother at the end.
Oh, shit. And
it's kind of like, okay, that's going to be a huge alpha presence that's just appeared. And, you know, she could be like, well, I don't know if my son has told this girl everything. We know that he hasn't, but she doesn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I wonder, I was going to say, maybe she'll like try to like fake this niceness to like have her over and then like get her alone and kill her. But now I'm wondering if she's gonna just instead have her like come around or something, but then tell her that he pushed his cousin off a cliff. I mean, she doesn't want anything to do with him, and then that's the last, like, that's his one saving grace gone.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing, and then you really don't know, and it's because at the same time, like, imagine like two kids in the area get like one's in a, you know, I don't know, you don't really know what she's capable of, but
that's it. Yeah.
That's what makes it so exciting, because you're like, this person is just like a thing ready to explode at any moment, and you don't know which way it's going to go, because she's got this real kind of like softness about her at times as well, like the way she is with him in the mornings and stuff like that, and you know, what do you want for dinner and stuff, like she can be like that. But the only reason why I think about him, you know, her keeping the kids locked in the house or something like that, is the dad would be an issue. So I don't know how that would go around.
I imagine he'd just have his head in the newspaper and not even have a fucking clue what's going on.
Probably, yeah. I mean, the guy just lives at the kitchen table, it seems. So, I mean, I don't know.
I honestly don't know. I think that because I've not read. I've watched like Psycho and stuff, and that's kind of like a similar story. You know, overprotective mother turns kid into psychopath. I feel like her mental state's got to have come from something in her youth. So I imagine that it will probably end in some way that she has full control over him. Like everyone either hates him or like his girlfriend's dead, his dad's dead, whatever. But that will then turn him against her, and it'll probably end with like him killing her but having nothing left or something. Wouldn't
it be poetic if he pushed her off a cliff?
Yeah. I don't know where all these cliffs are coming from.
Yeah, I think that would be cruel, because essentially, even if she did die and he was left with nothing, she kind of got away, because no one else can have him because he's on his own. No one's going to want to come near him, and he's going to be consumed by her anyway because of what she did to his life. So regardless, she got her way, and I think that would be so like melancholy, kind of cruel and sad.
It makes me anxious though, because Oshimi doesn't have the best track record with like endings. Like his endings sometimes can just be super rushed, or he's got like Stephen King fever sometimes, and I think he just writes whatever comes to mind as he goes along, but doesn't really plan it out for how he wants to end it. So, you know, if happiness is anything to go by, I wouldn't be surprised if some like cult of cannibals shows up.
I wonder if there'll be like a cult he runs away to or something.
This is the thing. This is the first like Oshimi thing I've ever read.
Oh,
and
right,
I'm still holding, like, I've got the first two books of the Flowers of Evil, and I've got like Happiness as well, and then I'm gonna get Inside Mari as well. But I'm like holding off reading anything else just for a little while, because I'm like, I don't want to have like any indications, like, 'cause I could binge all of Happiness and then be like, okay, now I've got an idea of what Oshimi's about. Then that kind of like seeps into what your predictions and your thoughts are blown the tracks. You kind of want this kind of, it's kind of like the first time I read Pun Pun as well. It's like, if you don't know Asano, you literally don't know how his mind works, so everything catches you off. And I feel like you kind of get that with Oshimi as well, especially with the art style. Like, it's really different from everyone else.
I am worried that he's going to make it a bit more like sexual though, like just because that's what he does. Like he definitely puts in a lot more like pervy stuff as he goes along. So I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it ended where like the mother and the son have an incest baby or something, and then they're all just living together in this weird, creepy like life that they've built. Also, it honestly wouldn't surprise me. I did review of The Drifting Classroom, and that's one of his first manga that he did before, like, it was Drifting Net Cafe, sorry. Drifting Classroom is what it was kind of based off of. And it was the most messed up shit I've ever read, honestly, because there's just rape, like, everywhere and all that kind of horrific stuff. And I'm glad that he's toned it down as he's gone along, but I always have in the back of my mind that there's going to be something like that in Blood on the Tracks.
The one bone I have to pick with Shuzo Oshimi is that he kind of tends to write, it's kind of always the same relationship. It's like kind of this really meek young guy, and he's always really dependent. It's always about like how he's either dependent or his emotions are reliant on like the women around him, and it's like
that sounds like he's writing like based on his own experience.
That's what I'm wondering, probably. Right? Like it's I don't want to say like incel-y, but a little tiny bit in some aspects.
That's exactly how I feel when I read Asano's stuff as well, because it's like always like the guy is always like, he always has like issues with like women, and is always a bit perverted.
Yep.
And like that's how I feel maybe Oshimi is then, based on what you guys are saying.
Which is it's a shame, because I do love him. I'd still say he's one of my favorite mangaka. Same with Asano, but they've both got some demons, surely, that they're just not addressing because of the work they're putting out.
When I read Downfall, especially, I was like, oh, this guy, this sounds like you're literally writing about your life. And I was like, I know people say that it wasn't his best work, but I was like, I really enjoyed it because I was like, fuck, this is like, I feel like this is like the biography of him. Like,
Well, it's funny
Yeah.
too
You
because
know.
like when it does the younger flashback of like the main character in that manga, it looks exactly like Inio Asano looks now. So I'm like, please don't say that this is like a prediction of what you're gonna be like when you're in your 50s. But I don't know. It's
It wouldn't surprise me. The dude likes to play Minecraft more than he likes to carry on with
you know what I
Dead
actually found out?
Demons, it
Yeah.
seems.
Oh my god. Well, you know what? I actually don't mind that. Like if he's taking his time to put out one good volume a year with all like the attention to details, all like the especially in the later volumes, you'll see what I mean because like you can see some of the aliens and stuff. But oh my god, it's nuts. But if he's taking his time to actually put some quality into it, that's fine. But the Minecraft thing is weird. You know what's weird? I found out the other day. How old do you think Inio Asano is?
He's got to be like in his 30s, right?
What do you think, Alex?
yeah, I thought he was like early 30s.
He is 40.
What?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's got like the Keanu Reeves thing.
Yeah.
Like, just ageless.
Well, I would never guess I would. I always thought he was like maybe a couple of years older than I am, if that. But yeah.
He does look
Because that was
very
always
young.
the thing. I was like, oh, there's this really like popular mangaka, and he's like, he's not old for once. Like, there's one that's like our age, and then it turns out he's not. But that's the thing. I wouldn't be surprised that a lot of mangaka kind of like put themselves in their stories.
I'm sure
you
that's,
know.
I would really hope that's not the case with Blood on the Tracks. But
It can't be the case with Junji Ito. He's the happiest guy ever. Like
Oh, he is.
he's so nice. Like that's what I love about him. I'd say because he just writes the
it's
most.
funny
like,
you mentioned
fucked up
Stephen King
manga.
earlier because he's like the Stephen King of manga because he's got like really good stories, but then he's got one where he's like, yeah, so I got stuck under my house and now I'm dead, and that's the story.
Yeah, I think he's obviously got like this side to him
Yep.
that it's just like offset by this happiness and this like happy side that we all see, and then he's just like, oh, we've got that, and then there's the story about like if everyone laughs they end up dying or whatever, and it's just like it is weird. But I think they probably there's probably a bit of themselves in all of them, unless you're like adapting something like when he did No Longer Human, for example, or whatever. But I haven't read enough Oshimi stuff to really know. But if you're saying that there's trends, that just kind of makes me feel like maybe
he's super toned it down. I read one of his like shorter series. I think it was like 1 or 2 volumes that I found online somewhere because it's not published, and it was just all about a girl that couldn't stop drawing penises. Like,
oh, I've read
Superbad.
that one. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah, and she just obsessed with dicks, and the whole thing was like, it was a bit like Flowers of Evil, but obviously not quite as developed. It's like this big metaphor for puberty and coming into your own and whatever. But it's done in a really weird way, and I didn't like the fact that no one said, hey, like this girl's like underage as well. Like I think she was in high school and like quite young, and I thought that was pretty messed
That's
up.
another like
but-
thing that was sort of uncomfortable about Flowers of Evil, especially because like the cover. I've told this story before. I don't know if I've told it on the podcast, but I bought you've all seen the second omnibus of Flowers of Evil. It's just like the picture of the 2 main girls in like their bathing suits. So I bought that in a store. I didn't actually look at the cover. I saw the first 2. I just pulled them out, stacked them on top of each other, and I brought it up to the thing. So she pulls it up. She scans the first one, and she takes the second one. She's looking at it, and she's just like really awkwardly, uncomfortably like looking for the barcode and scanning it. I'm like, what the fuck? And I get out to the car and I look, and it's like just the 2 high school girls wearing swimsuits. I was like, well, I'm never going back to that bookstore again. But
Hey, I bought Prison School off a guy on Facebook Marketplace yesterday. I'm pretty
that must
sure
have
that
felt
I
like
can-
a drug
I
deal.
can- it was so awkward.
was it in like a brown paper bag?
No, and I think he was like he was quite young as well, like because you never really know from Facebook because I think he had sunglasses on his profile picture as well. So I was like, I don't know how old this guy actually is. I turned up and he was like, they were still in the shrink wrap, which he was marketing it as like new. So I thought, well, he's not a degenerate then. So what's his deal? Why has he got these 2 copies of this manga? And then it was just really that awkward kind of like shuffle to his house, and he's like, are you here for the books? Like, yeah, like bye, and just ran away. Do you know what I mean? Got straight in my car and fucked off home. I thought I never want to have to do that again. I think that's definitely a series that I will just be ordering online from now on.
But it's worth it. It's worth it.
Well, I think I lucked out, like I mentioned before, because I got Girl on the Shore, I got like Jagan, I got Gantz, and no one's batted an eye at that. So as long as nobody looks through them, I think it's fine.
The only ones that I've got like that is I've got the actual Blu-ray of Prison School, but I've got like High School of the Dead.
Oh, right.
But other than that, I don't think I've got anything.
Did you get the full color version of that?
No, but I am tempted. I am tempted.
Those like
Like,
nice hardcovers.
Yeah, are they hardcovers?
Yeah, they're like the large, like oversized hardcovers.
Oh, I just thought that they were like softback. But yeah, I mean, if that's the case, then yeah, I won't
I'm
ask her
pretty
for
sure
Christmas
that
though.
the creator of High School of the Dead, I'm sure he like drew hentai at some point, and like I think isn't he dead now? I feel like
That's
he
why
died.
there wasn't anymore.
Wow. Okay. I didn't know
There's
she-
always rumors about them like continuing it. Do you think Prison School will ever get one though?
I'd hope so.
I would
I'd
imagine
like
it's
I'd like
popular
it
enough.
to.
I kind of need it to. I love that series.
When you because your wife isn't like super into anime, right? When did you have to watch that in shame, or did you just kind of like balls out watch it out in the open, no fucks given?
Well, she's actually started watching anime. Like she's starting Jujutsu Kaisen this weekend.
Oh,
And
good.
she just watched Demon Slayer. So she's like, Demon Slayer was her first shonen. So she's like she only watched like thriller stuff. Like she'd watch like Terror and Resonance, Perfect
right.
Blue, those sort of things. But now she's like stepping into shonen. But I was filming my videos of doing Prison School for the channel, and she didn't really know what it was because I just kind of in my office doing my thing. But there was one time she came in to tell me that like dinner was ready, and I was trying to like pixel track a set of boobs as she walked in. There's like a scene where like I don't know if you remember that there's the shower area, and there's one part where like this door opens and this girl walks past, and I was like I had to like get the pixels to like track her as she walked by, and my wife was just like, yeah, dinner's on the table.
When you're done.
I don't know how I'm gonna get to read Prison School. In all honesty, I think I'm gonna have to wait until like Meg's asleep and read it by candlelight or something. you know what I mean?
Covers or something like.
Even
Yeah.
the covers are pretty dodgy, and there's definitely some questionable shit in there. Zach, have you ever like read or watched any of it? Because you have quite
I've
an
watched
opinion about it.
I've
but-
watched a bit of the anime. I wasn't super. I don't know. I'm not like huge into like ecchi stuff or anything. It always just makes me uncomfortable for some reason. But
Yeah, I
some
don't
of it was
really
funny,
like
it's just I
ecchi,
didn't- I
but it
didn't
was
hate
just
It's just
the
not me.
comedy of it, and there's a guy that's kind of really weirdly into pain. So every time like one of them just beats the crap out of him, he's like getting off on that and stuff. It's
think
just
there's,
like,
I like the president. I mean, the head teacher, the headmaster. Like he was, you know. But I think it was the fact that it was just self-aware. So it wasn't like ecchi for ecchi's sake. It was like it knew what it was doing, and it was just like almost
I
like.
tried. I gave it the old honest try, but I couldn't do it. I mean, there was like I tried reading the manga too, and there was a scene that I saw later on where it was like the blonde girl was like taking a piss on a dude or something like that. It might have just not even been from the series, but just
Yeah.
like hentai
Yeah.
or something. But I saw that and I was like, you know what? I don't think this is for me.
I don't blame you. When you put it that way, me and Alex just sound like degenerates now.
Yeah, I mean, out of context. I mean, to be fair, even with context, it's pretty rough. But like out of context, I can see why that would be a bit of a red flag.
I wouldn't mind actually seeing Oshimi have a go at remaking something like High School of the Dead or Prison School from his own perspective, because he's a bit pervy himself. So that would be quite interesting to see him do a comedy manga for a change or something.
Yeah,
you know what
Just
I mean?
completely change it up. I mean, I've had to think about like certain things that like I would love to see him try his hand at in terms of like in a manga form. And there was two that came to my mind. They were both movies though. One was Black Swan. I think would be a really good one.
Good shout.
Because it's kind of got that vibe to it, you know. So I
Yeah.
think Black Swan would be great. And then there was a old Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman movie called Eyes Wide Shut.
Oh
that I thought
yeah,
was-
that would
yeah.
make a good manga. That's a
because
good
like
one.
I'm a fanboy for anything Stanley Kubrick, right? But like I just feel like it has that kind of mundane, slow pacedness to it as well. But then you would have those turn page moments of like, could you imagine Oshimi like drawing the scenes where like Tom Cruise has to take off his mask in front of everyone, you know, like that would be so. And then you know him being followed home at night with the guy with the lamppost and stuff. Like I just think that those would be some like cool things for him to do. But Black Swan I think would like fit perfectly.
I for one would just love a space series from him, because I'm like massive into sci-fi. I want him to create like something like Alien, you know, like the suspense at least in the first Alien, where it's like scuttling through the vents and stuff, and then trying to find out where it is. Something like that. I think.
Have you ever seen The Thing?
Yeah, I love
yeah.
The
See,
Thing.
I think the remake of it was the recent remake I thought was really good. Like, I think that would be something better for him because it's like it's not as action. Well, it does become action towards the end, but a lot of it is like suspenseful, just like
Who done it?
Who is it? You know, like little things like that, and the trust, because Oshimi has this way of like saying a lot with no words, just by the way people look at each other and stuff like that. And I think that would be like a really good one as well.
Something
for sure.
Excuse me, like something I'd like to see him do more often is I've read a little bit of Drifting Net Cafe and I read all of Happiness, and every time he does something that's like some sort of supernatural element, and you mentioned the space thing, I was actually going to say that was my answer, but something to do with that again, like seeing, even if it's just like some fantasy series, some sci-fi series, he always does it really well because it's never really like, oh, this whole series is about like vampires or whatever. It's like this is a drama series that has vampires in it.
Yeah, because that was what it was kind of one of my gripes about Drifting Net Cafe was just that but it was kind of cool at the same time. The whole setting is in like another world, but that's not what the story is about. It's kind of like what the characters would do in that situation. So yeah, if he was to go into space, I don't think it would be like Star Trek where it's like a space exploration. The space would just be the setting for what the characters are going to get up to.
It'd be like they'd be on a spaceship, but it'd be like a high school classroom.
Thing is like he's got such a great style that would fit quite a lot of different like arenas almost. Like you could do that kind of sci-fi thing. I think the horror thing is something that's just like, because it's bored like Blood on the Tracks is borderline kind of that, isn't it? It's more like thriller than anything, but like there is a bit of terror in it,
right?
And I feel like that can really like pass over into, you know, like other things, you know, like seeing him do I don't know, like adapt something like a Silence of the Lambs or something, or you know, like stuff like that would be quite cool.
Even something just like completely not Shuzo Oshimi, like you wouldn't expect, like the complete opposite of, like if he did something like Wallace and Gromit, for example.
Yeah, or
like
a Disney film. Like he'd do his version of Toy Story.
There, yeah.
Oh, I could imagine him doing something like Chicken Run. You know.
Oh, wow.
I'll just read anything he puts out, honestly, just for the namesake of it. But it's just he's always got this really unique way of telling a story, and just mixing that with his art, it's just really hard to find anywhere else.
So you guys have obviously read a fair bit of like Oshimi stuff. Like, where would what you've read so far kind of like rank up against some of the other Oshimi stuff that you've read?
It's hard to say without finishing it. I think Blood on the Tracks is probably my favorite of his so far. But I really liked Happiness. I didn't like it. I didn't think I was going to, because I was always like a purist about how Flowers of Evil was like his best series, and then Callum would be like, oh, no, Happiness is way better. And I'm like, what the fuck are you on about? It's obviously not. And then I finished it, and I'm like, no, yeah, this is way better.
It definitely changes, though. My opinion's always changing, because I keep coming back in my mind to, like, sort of dwell on it again, and my opinion's always changing on which one I think is better. I think Happiness is better in a sense that it ticks more of the boxes for the type of manga that I usually enjoy. Like, it's more of a violent kind of a bit more action-centered series than the Flowers of Evil, but then the Flowers of Evil has a arguably better ending. For me, I'm actually really loving Inside Mari at the minute, but that's a really difficult sell, because that is probably one of the more perverse series that he's written, but it's not done in a horrible way. Like, it's done in a kind of, what would every guy do if they were in a girl's body? Like, let's be honest. So it's done in a true to life kind of way, but at the same time, there's interesting things that one does explore with, like, the character's stuck inside a girl's body, and then he gets into a relationship with a guy at school, and has all those like female hormones and experiences life as a woman, and it's sort of a bit different to just like your traditional kind of guy being a pervy weirdo in a girl's body. But that one is, I think it's finished, but and I definitely think you can read it all online, but it's not all published yet. So I'd like more people to read that. If you're listening to this and you're enjoying Blood on the Tracks, I'd just recommend that one.
That's the thing, like, so much isn't available at the moment. Like, I keep going through phases where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to try this, go pick it up, go online, see it, like, not available, and you're like, there you go.
Well, we got 10 days till bookstores open, maybe.
Is it that quick?
April 12th is when all the non-essential shops open, although at the time of recording, that's when it is. By the time this podcast is out, we'll probably be in lockdown 4, so... So I really want to get back when things open back up again. I really do want to go to the big Forbidden Planet in London again, because that thing was fucking insane.
Yeah, that is awesome, man. I remember going in there before it was the first time I physically bought manga was in there. Like I just started collect. Well, it was when I started first collecting back in like February of 2019, I think.
Yeah.
And then because they do that like 3 for 2 thing there.
Yeah.
And I remember we were going there to, I think we were seeing like Bill Burr or something.
Oh, right.
And I was just like, well, if we're going to London, your boy is going Forbidden Planet, and I'm just going in there, and you're like a kid because you're like, you spend, like, I think I must have been there for an hour just walking around the same things, like just deciding, you know, you've got like a handful of like stuff and you're like looking at which ones you're going to take. It's such a good experience, especially like Forbidden Planet, just because they generally do have so much stuff there, and it's not all the Dr. Stone, My Hero, all that sort of like Demon Slayer. They've got everything in there. Like you can find all sorts of stuff.
Books too. Like this is a funny story because when I filmed that vlog when we went down to London, I had to film the Forbidden Planet part twice because when I went there, my phone was like it was on like 30%, but like we were there for like an hour and a half. And I was just like filming, just like doing like panning, like nice artistic panning shots of like all the fucking bookshelves and everything. And then the phone died halfway through and it like corrupted the video, so I had to like go back the next day. I was like, okay, I can't buy anything, I have to like, it has to be like all real. So I had to like walk all the way back to the hotel, walk all the way back. It was annoying as shit, but oh man, it was worth it.
Aside from like Blood on the Tracks, what's on the top of everyone's to buy list then when everything opens again? Have you got anything in mind that you're going to go straight towards if it's in Forbidden Planet? Like you go in, they've stocked everything up because hopefully they should do, right, if they're going to reopen again. What's the first thing you gravitate towards?
Chainsaw Man for sure, because I went to, there's a store in Birmingham called Worlds Apart that always has like, they have like this long fucking shelf of like manga. It's like back and front too, and they always, it's not just like they have like crap that I would never expect. It's like a bunch of seinen that I thought were like I would never see or exist. Just a really eclectic list of just stuff you can buy. And then they had like the first 3 volumes of Chainsaw Man. I went there the day before the last lockdown went, and I was like, yeah, I'll just get those next time. And I never was able to. So I'm kind of hoping they're just there collecting dust.
There's a few things that I'm quite looking forward to. Like I do want to check out the Fist and North Star releases when they come out. So I have no idea what to expect with those. I do want to check out Hell's Paradise as well, because Hell's Paradise is like really hard to get at the moment. I think you can get volume 1 or maybe even not, but like they're going up in price, and I just hear a lot of people talking really good stuff about Hell's Paradise.
I've heard a lot of good things about that one. I read the first volume of that actually. That's the samurai one, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah,
I was gonna pick up Asadora as well.
I've got that coming. I'm really looking forward to that. Someone described it to me. It's got like the way that, I don't want to spoil it because I want you to go into it blind, but the way someone described it to me was it sounds nuts.
It's on hiatus though.
But that's the thing. Right? Yeah, something's up with Arasawa though, isn't it?
Which is one thing. I'll still buy it, but it does always put me off when I'm like going into a series and I'm thinking they're not going to be putting these out very regularly. I'm looking forward to more Blue Giant personally. If you guys haven't checked that out yet, I'd highly recommend it. The releases are actually a bit smaller. They're kind of like the size of the I Am a Hero Dark Horse omnibuses. Like they're a bit more compacted, but super nice artwork. And if you like Beck Mongolian Chop Squad, then it's definitely for you, I would say.
Which they should release physicals of that, but Kodansha they won't.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna.
And I just want to pick up some more Jujutsu Kaisen as well, because I think I'm like 2 volumes behind, and I think so. I've only got 1 to 6. So I still want to pick up the prequel as well. I was going to pick up a bunch of Platinum End, but now the anime's been announced.
I'm just gonna wait for the anime. I read up to I won't spoil it. I read up to the point with the stadium.
Yeah.
And I was like,
is that it?
That's all. Yeah. Well, I was like, I read it on like online, so it's like it feels like you're reading for a while.
Disappoint me.
But I've heard like the cast, because they put out like the voice cast and everything like that, and I'm like, okay, it seems pretty cool. So I was like, and from what they've shown, it does look quite cool. So I was like, I might just wait for the anime for that one. But I've got volume 1 and I love the covers as well. Like the covers are some of the nicer covers I think I've seen. But in terms
I'm ready for everyone to eat their words on that series when that anime comes out, and they're all jumping on the bandwagon and saying how good it is, and all the manga sales will go up. And I'll be like, I've been telling you this for so long, and no one's listening.
I'll do what you did for Jujutsu Kaisen then, and be like, I really don't see why everyone's hyping this up.
I don't. I stand by that. I'll die on those words. I think because
Are you
what
sure
it was,
you didn't? You gotta like read to a certain point. I hate being one of those people, but like the first bits of
You're
the
that
manga
episode 95 of Black Clover guy.
Yeah.
yeah. People telling me I have to read 80 volumes of One Piece to have an opinion when I'm like, no, I've read 35, I think it was, or something. But no, I like Jujutsu Kaisen. Don't get me wrong. Like, I enjoy it. I haven't watched any of the anime because I'm still more of a manga person, even though the anime looks really, really well done from what I've seen of it. But it's when I'm seeing so many people that are just like, hyping it up all the time as if it's like God's gift to manga, like it's the best thing ever. And I read it, I enjoyed it, but I'm not.
How far?
I'm
did
not
you,
sold
how
on
far
it
have
yet.
you read of it? I'm not trying to be like you got to read to chapter 1000 kind of thing. Just,
I have the first, I think I want to say 6 volumes
so you haven't even
or
gotten
7.
to. None of you have even gotten to like the big fucking hype arc of Jujutsu Kaisen yet, which I'm really looking forward to.
I think the reason why there's so much hype is because there's not been something that's taken that place now since like Jujutsu Kaisen has filled a gap that there's been for a while. And
I called that, by the way. I told you it was going to be this year's Demon Slayer. Everyone's like, "Are you sure?" I was like, "Yeah."
For me, like as soon as I started reading it, I was like, "Okay, this is making me feel how I felt reading Soul Society."
Yep.
And I was just like, "This
Blasphemy.
okay, I'm not saying it's as good. It's definitely not as good for me. But then at the same time, I've not read enough. Like, you can't read like Soul Society is what, like, I don't know,
It's like
150
21
chapters or something. Yeah, like Jujutsu Kaisen, I'm sure is good, and you know, I'm sure that the Jujutsu Kaisen anime shits all over the Bleach anime. I'm sure, but
Yeah,
you know,
I'll give you that.
Easily.
even with like the manga, I don't know how many chapters there are out, but I still don't know if it would even be possible at that amount to dug that deep into a character and have them have.
I'm waiting for Zach to tell me that there's an arc that really.
No, there is an
shows how
arc.
deep
There is
the
an arc.
characters
It's the big Shibuya arc. That's going to be like the big focal point of season 2. And I'll let you eat your words next year when the second season airs. But
Oh, they've got the movie as well.
Oh, the movie is gonna be nuts. Mappa with a movie budget.
What I'm liking at the moment is this new trend of anime movies adapting actual,
Yep, I
like
that too.
fucking source material rather than doing this whole, you know, kind of anime only kind of side thing that they'll always try and make it like nudge towards like if it's kind of relevant or it's like a nod to something, but it has no relevance. That I think is a pretty cool thing. I think Demon Slayer doing it is cool, and I think the fact that because no one really knew when they said that there was a Jujutsu Kaisen movie coming that they didn't know what they were going to adapt. The fact that they're going to do the prequel is pretty cool. I think.
I won't spoil why, but they would have to do the prequel before to kind of really set up the next arc. Not spoil why.
You're just one of those guys now. This is what you've become.
Hey,
Look at it. wait
No,
until
I'm
this
not.
chapter.
I'm not even trying to be like that. Circling back to the actual topic of the podcast, because this is just, I was going to bring up Chainsaw Man, and because we've read Fire Punch. I don't know if you have yet, Alex, but you should if you haven't. Just the idea, and the funny thing is, Fire Punch was in like Shonen Jump Plus too, so I can't say it's a seinen or anything. But knowing the subject material of Fire Punch, and then seeing Tatsuki Fujimoto make a manga in the main Jump magazine, and it was fucking good. What do you think if Shuzo Oshimi made a Shonen Jump manga, it would be like?
Oh, I don't really want to think about it because I think he would definitely push it to the limit of what it could be. I'd feel like it would be happiness, but they'd take out a few things. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it would be a similar sort of story to what he does create, but he would hold back on some stuff. Like, I don't think he would go as far with it. That's why I don't really want it to happen, because I think he's let loose, isn't he, when he can create what he wants.
Well, I know the creator of or the artist for Dr. Stone he did another manga or manhwa or whatever called Sunken Rock, and I would have never imagined this guy making like drawing manga for Shonen Jump, but he's also done like straight hentai before too. So it's weird,
wow.
But I'm having trouble imagining what a Shuzo Oshimi Shonen Jump would be.
I know. I think like. the premise of like happiness would probably be the one. I think, or like because Inside Mario isn't it like more like a Freaky Friday kind of situation?
Yeah, it's like a Your Name but for adults, basically.
Yeah, I think it would then just be a Freaky Friday adaptation. Like it would just be just that, maybe.
Just
but
like a rom-com with a twist. even.
But
That's
I
what I
just
mean,
can't
that's-
imagine his art style in Shonen Jump. There's just something so raw about it that you don't ever see that. Like, because I don't know if you guys see this, but like whenever like Shonen Jump announce a new series, whether it's like the Phantom Seer or whatever it was, or whatever the fuck they're called, the art always looks identical. Like,
Yeah.
you
It's
know,
really easy
Undead
to,
Unluck,
like-
Guardians of, like, what was that? Guardian of
Guardian of the
the
Witch.
Like,
Oh,
every
yeah.
series, they look like the characters always look like they're drawn by the same machine almost.
Yep.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's always
and
like the
that's
same
the problem.
poses. It's like the main guy staring at the camera, as it were, and then like the girl behind him, like off to the side,
Yeah,
kind of
and-
tilting her head, looking at the hero.
That's
It's like-
that's the problem that I have with Shonen Jump, because it's like for example, so the one series that I keep looking at going, what should I get in it? Is that Kaiju one?
Okay, to be fair, Kaiju number 8 is actually fucking dope. You should
Yeah,
read
and I'm
that.
like, oh, that looks cool, but then I'm like, oh, like the art style, like kind of, it's just like, is it going to be, because it's a shonen series, I'm like, oh, that sounds like that's going to be wank then. But then you're like, because I hope it's not too shonen, but then people will go, no, actually, you know, the further you go in, it gets a little bit more whatever, because I just think, oh, every 2 minutes is going to be an action sequence, it's going to get serious, and then it's going to be lighthearted and whatnot, and I just like, I don't know, but that's the problem I think with Shonen Jump, is you have a lot of that. But so if you threw someone like Oshimi into that world, yikes, man, I don't know.
Yeah, you're going to upset a lot of kids. I think they're going to be scarred for life and want their money back. Because that's what he does. He takes really simple stories that could be like kids' stories, like a story about a vampire or a story about like a Freaky Friday, and he just pushes it to the limit of what it could be and makes it super messed up. And that's why I love his stories. That's what I love about him. So I think, yeah, I wouldn't want him to ever kind of have to hold back anything to make it big in Shonen Jump, if you like. It's the same with Inio Asano. Could you see like Goodnight Pum being adapted to a shonen?
It's
But,
kind of
like,
funny you say that,
Jesus.
because like you've read Downfall too, right, Colin?
yeah,
Okay, you know when he's he's like I don't know what the hell I'm gonna create. I need to create something that's gonna sell, and he creates that series at the end that everybody likes, and he's like all pissed off about it. I wonder if that's how Inio Asano feels about Dead Demons, and because Dead Demons is his most like mainstream work, so I can see, well, up to a point, so I can see him kind of doing. I could see it working, something like that
Yeah.
working as a Shonen Jump, but again, it's
because
the same
Dead
thing.
Demons it's got dark moments, but it a lot of it is more like light-hearted
Oh
kind
no, it
of.
goes full Inio Asano like later on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but if you kind of forget those bits, you could see how he could just write like a teen drama about some like quirky like girls at school or whatever. But that's again what's best about that series, is that it's not that. I think if it was just that, we wouldn't care about it so much. It's kind of the idea that it's a lot darker.
You
than
know what we'll
you
do then? Because and I'm not trying to make fun of whatever his name is who does Hunter x Hunter. We'll just give Hunter x Hunter to Shuzo Oshimi. Let him finish it off.
I'm so surprised that is like still running, because the art is just dropped so much.
I know it's not even his fault too. I know he's got like actual chronic health problems, but it's like just.
So I
yeah.
guess to sort of like round off the pod, if you like, do you want to kind of let us know what you've got coming up on your channel anytime soon, Alex, or anything interesting that you're looking forward to?
It's more of the same, really. Like, I'm gonna try and do a little bit more like original content as well as just staying doing the reactions, because things are going quite well. But we'll be starting ship it in within probably 2 months' time. I think it's probably about when that will be.
Nice.
So I'm exciting for that, and hopefully that'll do well. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and do a little bit more kind of Mesa. I've got a video coming out. I think you guys have seen it, right? Yeah. So yeah, I've trying to do a little things, but it's just finding time, because at the moment I'm doing like 8 or 9 episodes of like anime like a week on the channel. So it's like daily uploading, and then trying to find a day in between where you can do something, and also being bothered to do it as well, and edit it and stuff like that. And also like try and have a life, but it's just more of the same. But yeah, we'll be starting shipping in soon and getting to the tasty parts of Naruto, as Callum says.
Awesome. What about us, Zach? What have we got coming up soon?
The
When's the next
Dorohedoro
podcast?
the Dorohedoro episode it is coming. I mean, we say this is gonna be a meme at this point. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 volumes left, but the problem with Dorohedoro is it's like they're really thin volumes, so you can plow through them really quick. And once you get to volume 16, they go like this, and it just gets really big.
It made me laugh because you messaged me saying I've not got many volumes left to read, and I thought, well, I'm pretty sure the amount of volumes you've got left equates to probably the amount of volumes you've read already, because the thickness of it.
That
just,
big one's
goes
like
up.
a full like 2-on-1 omnibus. I don't know. I was very optimistic, thinking I'd be able to finish it.
Yeah, we
That's
created
fun.
a manga of the month segment, but we didn't tell you which month we'd
That,
talk
you know what?
about
To be fair, yeah, we didn't say. Well, actually, we did. We did say it was for February. So
But ignore that. We're taking that back. That didn't happen.
can you edit Instagram posts? Okay,
Yeah.
we'll say this. Once we get the first one out, it's smooth sailing from there, because we'll have the second one recorded the same day, pretty much.
Yeah,
'Cause we're
we
preempting
decided
the
already
yeah.
on the next series that we're gonna talk about, and you guys don't have any choice for that one.
Yeah, you'll
'cause
get
we
your
wanna
choice
talk
back
about-
in June. I think it will probably be.
It's a good one though. You can trust us.
Yeah,
on it.
aside from that, I'm just gonna keep plugging away at really quick manga recommendations. I got like a list of them. I got like Lucifer and the Biscuit Hammer. I have to look at my shelf. I'll do I Am a Hero. I don't know, I'm gonna split them up. I'm gonna do like really fast 5-minute manga review / recommendation things.
That are actually 7 minutes long.
Yeah, but it's like 5 minutes is the actual. I timed it. It's like 5 minutes is the actual review. Like the other 2 minutes are like intro, outro crap.
I remember I saw that pop up. I was like, 7 minutes. This is bullshit.
Yeah. And then I'm gonna do like full series reviews, like my normal review thing, where it's like 12 minutes of me just not shutting up about manga. I know I said I'm not gonna do hauls anymore. I probably will. I'm gonna do a manga collection video, because I haven't done one since last year. And then maybe whatever, if I ever have a stupid idea for another skit, like that restaurant one, then I'll do that. I actually do have one, and it might be out by the time I finish this. It's more of a TikTok than anything, because it'd be a 5-second video, but it's like me looking at my shelf. It's just called 3-in-1 omnibuses. It's just me looking at my shelf, and then like I'm pretending, like cut to me like pretending to be a book, and I like take the book off the shelf and I open it, and then I just bend over and go, "Ow, my spine," and that's the video. That's the video.
It's so fucking dumb but brilliant at the same time.
This is what lockdown's done to you.
This is exactly lockdown has fried my brain. I need to go outside.
Ow, my spine. That's so fucking good.
That's
Well, I just announced my 2,000 subscriber giveaway, which is the first kind of giveaway thing that I've ever done, because I'm too cheap to do them. I feel like some people do them at like 100 subs, and I just think, why? Like, what's the point in that? So yeah, there's that. If you want to go and check that out, I'm doing much of the same of what I usually do. Kind of like I've got a haul coming up soon, which is the first one I've done in a while, or in quite a few months, I think. And then just reviews, things like that. I've recently read quite a lot of stuff. One of them is obviously the series we've chosen for the next kind of manga of the month, but I also read a few other things. So yeah, got lots to talk about. So
we mentioned we talked about it briefly, like when we hung out last year, but we might, lockdown permitting, maybe do like a vlog together, like meet up and go like shopping at like a bookstore or
that could
something.
be fun.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
That'd be wicked. You know what you should do? You should do like a... No, this is a wicked idea. Okay. So, if whatever happens next year, cons open back up, all right? We should do like a Top Gear thing where 3 of us go, like we will have a camera with us, and we have to try and like find like stuff to buy, and then at the end we reveal what it is, but they're all kind of like topical things or whatever. I don't know.
That's perfect. I'm down for that.
Also, bring back Manga Wars.
Yes.
Yeah. I struggle with that, because I always like think of series that I want to compare, and then I chicken out because I don't want to piss off too many people with my opinions. But
when has that ever been a problem in the past, though? That's the thing. Like...
That's kind of what it is. Yeah, that's kind of what it's about. I am cooking one up, and I have been for a while, but it's just getting around to doing that, because they take so long to record. There's a lot of planning that goes into those, and I end up having to reread quite a bit of both manga to sort of remind myself what's going on. So yeah, those are going to make a comeback. I would like to do more than Not Just for Girls thing, but I feel like I pissed off a lot of people with the actual title of that, so maybe I'll do a rebranding.
Call it Shoujo for Brojos.
Brojo recommendations.
Yeah.
But yeah, where can people find you, Allonsyyy?
I'm all over the interwebs like a rash, so you can find me on YouTube. Just type in Allonsyyy with 3 Ys. You should find me. Same on Twitter and Instagram. And if you struggle to find me, you can always find me just retweeting Zack and Callum stuff.
Yeah, and we'll put links in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. If you're listening to this on Spotify, go to hell, not my problem. Apple Music, same thing. Wherever else we post this, because I just upload it and it like spreads it everywhere. I completely forget where the podcast.
Even I don't know where you.
I don't even know. I like set up the website and it like I upload the MP3 and then it just sends it to everywhere. And I don't remember where it sends it to other than Apple Music and Spotify. So if you're listening to this on some dark web podcast website, congratulations. I'm not going to put the description there either, so you have to go to YouTube for it. And where can they find? They can find me. This is a funny meme at the end of every episode. You can find me all over the internet at Uchuu Shelf, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and so on and so forth. Where can they find you?
I don't know anymore. They can find me at On the Shelf 2 on Twitter because some bastard stole On the Shelf 1 and they don't even use that account. On the Shelf 64, I believe, on YouTube and Instagram. So yeah, thanks for that, Zach. Thanks for reminding me.
No problem. So I'll put links to those in as well, and hopefully you can find them. But I think that really wraps it up for today. So thank you, Allonsyyy, for coming on and chatting with first Shuzo Oshimi, but then Shonen Jump. And, but for those of you looking forward to the Dorohedoro manga first monthly manga club, it's coming. It'll be out probably in the next couple of weeks. Actually, to be honest, I think we'll get it. We'll get it going.
I'll believe it when I see it.
Famous last words.
Well, I've got a long weekend, so I got nothing better to do than put together a new desk and actually paint the rest of this office. So aside from that, I'm going to read Dorohedoro, and then probably next week we'll actually be able to record, and then we'll record the other one. The one that comes after Dorohedoro, we actually have a giveaway, so definitely stick around for that if you want to get some free manga. Definitely subscribe, follow us on all the podcast places. But until next time, thank you for listening to Between the Shelves, and we will see you around.